Something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555. Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Build the redeem, build the vibe, 40-40, long time, build the redeem, build the vibe, with the CCB for a lifetime, ECCB 40, long time, celebrating 40, long time, long time, feel the rhythm, feel the vibe, with the CCB for a lifetime. Everything intact, we making impact with the cash, digital currency. Quick to react, so we could relax, and that is fact. Reliable, the CCB protects you and me in each and every ECCU country. Strong polymer currency and solar powered energy, oh yeah. ECCB 40, long time, boy. Celebrating 40, long time, boy. 40, long time, feel the rhythm, feel the vibes, with the CCB for a lifetime. Always coming through fast, a central bank to trust. 40 with no fuss, can't wait for 40 plus. Education, 40 plus. Wealth creation, 40 plus. Transformation, 40 plus. The CCB protects you and me in each and every ECCU country. Regional brilliance and vigilance, oh yeah. ECCB 40, long time, oh. Celebrating 40, long time, oh. Feel the rhythm, feel the vibes, 40, long time, feel the rhythm, feel the vibes, with the CCB for a lifetime. ECCB, our financial guide, side by side, we go match with pride. ECCB, our financial guide, side by side, we go match with pride.
Jumpstart your holiday season and get the Christmas you deserve with the Police Cooperative Credit Union Easy Holiday Loan Promotion. Choose from 3 amazing loan options to make your holidays unforgettable. 1. Easy line of credit up to $25,000. 24 hours. Quick and easy. 2. Easy 60. Get up to $60,000 unsecured for your holiday dreams. 3. Easy Ride Vehicle Loan. Drive home for the holidays in style. Low interest rates, flexible, easy. Join the Police Cooperative Credit Union today and make this holiday season truly easy. For more information, give us a call at 465-9554 or visit our office at the E.C. Daniel Building, Keon Street, Bastille, or visit our website at pccukn.com. Terms and conditions apply.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The cable's Christmas countdown is heating up every week. A different way to win big. And here's how. Week 1, sign up for internet or Ultra TV for a chance to win a trip to New York. Week 2, use your cable platinum loyalty card for a chance to win a $500 grocery shopping spree. And week 3, pay your bill in full and you could have your selected bills paid for 1 full year. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Cable St. Kitts so you know what's up for grabs in weeks 4, 5, and 6 and what it takes to win big on the Cable's Christmas Countdown. Final draw December 22. Terms and conditions apply.
The specials at Domino's are hot, hot, hot for any occasion. Hot right out of the oven. 1 medium, 2 topping pizza, and 2 20-ounce Cokes, only $35. Free Coke with your lunch until 2 p.m. Small, 1 topping school child lunch special, only $14. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free large pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
Oh, hot and wild, call Domino's. Now.
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Good morning to those of you who are joining us from the diaspora. Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of The Edge. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. We are going to get right into the conversation. Before I do that, though, let me share the numbers with you. You can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Those are the numbers you call to participate in the conversation today. We are also live on ZIZ's TV, ZIZ's YouTube channel, and ZIZ's Facebook page. You are listening to The Edge. I am Devonne Cornelius, your host. Let me begin by saying congratulations, offering congratulations to the winners, runners-up, and all the junior calypsonians who participated in the Cable and Greenhouse Band Junior Calypso Monarch competition held last evening, Sunday evening, at the Marriott Plaza here in St. Kitts. It was a splendid, it was a wonderful night. The performance was, I think, of high quality, and all the junior calypsonians, they brought their A game and they came out hard. They had their friends and family and well-wishers supporting them. I can say a very, very good support team. The winners of the competition, so for the primary category, Mighty Zen with 390 points. First runner-up went to Lady Faith, and second runner-up went to Prince Kai. And for the secondary category, the winner is Starboy Nicholas with 428 points. First runner-up went to Mighty J, and second runner-up went to Princess Nevia. Congratulations to all of you. You guys did an awesome job. It was a really, really good show, which is now in its 50th year, as the first one was held back in 1973. You know, I remember having a conversation with a random person about, this competition and other events that happen as part of Carnival and Culturama. And we are not, the general public, for the most part, I think, is not aware of a lot of the work that goes on behind the scenes to make these events possible. So we see the end product, we see all of these things happening, and we're not aware of what goes on behind the scenes to ensure that these things happen. There's a lot of time, a lot of money, volunteerism, a lot of preparation, a lot of sacrifice that goes into making these events successful. But as I say, we see the end product, and so it is really good when these events can happen, and it is really good that when we get good participation. We had 19 calypsonians. I think the majority of them were from Nevis, so very good there. And as I said, the support system was, in my opinion, 10 out of 10. All of the performers, they had their base, family, friends, their parents. It was an awesome night there at the Marriott Plaza. Joining me on the program this morning will be a representative from the Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts to speak on, when he comes, he'll tell you what he'll be talking about. I want him to say that for you. All right. So I was just notified that the individual is here. So when we come back, we will continue the conversation here on The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Monique Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Join in and praise and thank Him for His wondrous grace. And thank Him for His wondrous grace.
Hi, I am Pastor Clive Saunders, and I am inviting you to join me every Wednesday night from 8 to 10 for Praise on the Pulse, right here on ZIZ Radio. It will be a powerful time of praise and worship unto our God. Tune in and be blessed.
Come on and declare. We got the victory. Hallelujah.
Welcome back to the Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. So, my apologies, my guest is not here as yet, but joining me will be Mr. Glenville Leader, the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis. And today we'll be speaking about the response to dengue fever in the country. He'll be joining me right now. Welcome back to the Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Today is Monday, December 11, 2023. Joining me is Mr. Glenville Leader, the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Today we will be speaking about the Ministry of Health's response to dengue fever in the country. Most of you who have been following the news are aware of the fact that we are currently facing dengue fever, not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across the Caribbean region. And health organizations, ministries of health across the region have been ramping up their efforts to prevent the spread of dengue fever within the communities across the region. Mr. Leader is here today to speak about what we are doing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Leader, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Pleasant good morning to you as well, and the listening public.
All right, so let's get right into it. Response to dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis. Where are we right now?
Okay, first of all, let me express what is dengue fever first, and then we'll look at the response.
Sure.
Dengue fever is a mosquito-borne viral infection, causes a flu-like illness, and sometimes causing a potential lethal complication called dengue hemorrhagic fever. And so there are 4 stereotypes of dengue: dengue 1, 2, 3, and 4. Currently, we are seeing dengue 2 and 3 being circulated in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. This disease lasts about 2 to 7 days. And so the health department currently, we are mobilizing our resources. That is, we have a contingent of vector control officers who are going out in the field to ensure that the breeding sites are eliminated or minimized. So that is very important at this current time. So we need the support of the general public in our efforts to ensure that we reduce the breeding sites. So, dengue is caused by when someone is bitten by an Aedes aegypti mosquito. That is a black and white mosquito that lives around the household in domestic areas and urban areas. And so it is important that we control this mosquito and the breeding sites, which proliferates in water. And so we need to control where the mosquito breed if we are to make any gain in curtailing or mitigating against this disease. Now, when the officer or officers come to your respective area, we need you to give them your fullest support. So what are we looking for exactly? So the mosquito lay their eggs in water, then it turned to larvae, then pupa, then an adult mosquito. That happened within the time span of 10 to 14 days. And so we need to control the breeding sites. So the officers are out in their numbers to ensure that the public do not have any containers, any bottles, tins, canned tires in their yards, roof gutters, coconut shells, anything that can hold stagnant water. So it's very important that we try to get rid of these things and dispose of them in a container that is conducive for the purpose. So we want to curtail the indiscriminate dumping. We have a bad practice in St. Kitts. Everybody are disposing of their garbage in the bushes, on the side of the street, in the drain. So if we are to control this disease, we need to control the breeding sites. Also, we have officers at our swamps, the Frigate Bay, swamps, Angela swamps, and Cannery, because we have stagnant body of water in that area as well, and we are carrying out something you call perifocal treatment, where we use thermophos or abate by the trade name, or we use BTI to control, and in many cases we use fish. So we have a particular fish that we'll put in the water that will eat the larvae and the pupa to prevent the mosquito from coming an adult. But we have a problem here now in the community. Someone came into our federation sick, and we have the vector already, we have the mosquito already, and so it's already circulating within the communities. And so we are currently carrying out fogging exercise. So when you see the guys come around with the truck, we need you to open your doors and your windows to ensure that the insecticide penetrate. Now this mosquito is most prevalent around 6:30 in the morning and 6 o'clock at evening when it's about to get dark. They're more aggressive around that time, and they hide out in spaces where you have high bush, so you need to cut your yard. Make sure that your yard and the empty lots are groomed. If you own an empty lot, it's very important that you do so to control that. So we at the health department cannot do it alone. We need the intervention because, as I mentioned to you, it has implication on our economy. People are coming here. This is Carnival coming up, and we expect lots of people will be visiting our show, which increases the risk. And so the fact that we have dengue 2 and 3 in St. Kitts and Nevis and people coming in, we are very much cognizant of that fact, and so we're here to provide information to you so that you can make an informed decision so that we can reduce the incidence of this disease.
Mr. Leader, you mentioned breeding sites. Are there areas that the Ministry of Health is concerned about that may be a breeding site or a potential breeding site?
Yes.
Okay.
So, first of all, we have been going to the Frigate Bay swamps, is a contentious area, one. The Cannery sanitary landfill and the swamps at Cannery as well. And notwithstanding that, a lot of domestic, personal, people premises. We have seen 81 premises being found to be breeding mosquitoes upon our visits within the various communities. So we just cannot look at the swamp area. We have to look at the household. We have also inspected all the businesses downtown to ensure that the breeding sites are minimized. But for the most part, the Aedes aegypti mosquito breeds around the household. So we need to concentrate our efforts more so around the household. Notwithstanding that, we are at the swamps doing what we can do, but it's a domestic mosquito that breeds in clean, stagnant water. So we are trying our very best to mitigate against the infection by concentrating our efforts in the urban areas around the household at this time and at the cannery landfill.
You mentioned or you used the opportunity to plead with the general public to be a part of the fight in slowing the spread or reducing the spread of dengue fever. What has the response been like from the general public?
Right. So for the most part, it's positive.
Okay.
But some people are taking us for Jehovah's Witnesses and they're not opening the doors when we go there. We are asking you to cooperate. Nothing is wrong with the Jehovah's Witness, but we are asking you to, at this time, we are experiencing a crisis. So you will be seeing our officers in the numbers more than usual because of the potential risk. So we are asking you to cooperate with the health department as they come to your establishment or to your place of residence. We're just trying to help you, because the fact of the matter is that dengue fever is not contagious. You cannot touch me, you cannot speak to me, it's not COVID. But the fact is we have the vector, which is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, already circulating in our communities. We need to have a response. And so, I don't know, someone might have an underlying problem and get dengue and the situation may worsen. So we are trying to prevent all of that from happening, and the health department, as I mentioned, cannot do it alone. We need the general public intervention. So to follow the guidelines that I have just mentioned to you, to try to mitigate and alleviate the problem that we are currently experiencing.
Recently, the Prime Minister, Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, mentioned that there are confirmed cases of dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis, with most of these cases being on the island of Nevis.
Yes.
Can you tell us how many cases we have at present, and are there specific areas? So let's say if it's a case where they're in Sandy Point or Bastille or Charlestown, so any specific sites. And can you also speak to the fogging schedule and the areas that you guys are focusing on?
All right. So to date we have seen 185 confirmed cases. Most of it is in Nevis, as I mentioned, and the fogging exercise, the schedule is disseminated to all the media house on a weekly basis so that you can be aware of the various areas where we are fogging. However, we are seeing a challenge in the area of Sandy Point. We have seen some cases there. I don't know, because of the Love Valley. Down the Love Valley area, they had embarked on an initiative with the Gulf Coast, and what happened is that you have a lot of stagnant water is there, and so breeding sites from that. So we continue to have a challenge. Cayon again, we have seen a number of cases in Cayon, and in the Dorset Shadwells area we are seeing cases as well. Notwithstanding that, we have cases sporadic in other areas, but those areas are the most contentious areas at this time, according to the data received.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Leader. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. And joining me today is Glenville Leader, Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We will take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
Deal.
Get ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. only on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom? Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need some help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in CARIFORUM, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. If you're just tuning in the studio with me today is Glenville Leader, Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts and Nevis. What are we talking about? We are on the topic of the Ministry of Health's response to dengue fever in the country. Welcome back to the program.
Yes.
Mr. Leader, let's talk about prevention.
Okay, so prevention. The best prevention is to alleviate the areas that are infested with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So that is to eliminate the mosquito breeding sites and the laying of eggs, because these eggs can withstand desiccation for a whole year, which means if you get dry, the eggs can stay there until water comes again and proliferate themselves. So we need to control those sites first. Lowering the number of eggs and larvae and pupa. So the larval stage is the second stage, the pupa is the stage before the adult, will reduce the number of emerging adult mosquito. Now only a female mosquito bite. They do that in order to get the blood to fertilize their eggs. And so only female mosquito, and they last about 1 month. The lifespan of a mosquito is about a month. So now community participation is key for dengue prevention. Household aims to reduce vector density. So we have to visit the house to reduce the density, because as I mentioned to you, we already have the mosquito proliferating, which is infected in our community from someone being entered into our federation with a confirmed case. It is now in our community. But it is not contagious. You don't need to be alarmed. You cannot touch me, but nevertheless you need to be concerned. It's a matter of urgency for us so that we can reduce this illness. So that's our preventative method. Along with what I spoke of before, going to the swamps perifocal treatment. Also, I told you about fogging exercise, prevention. Yes.
I wanted to ask, and I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, but abandoned properties, abandoned spaces, garbage and all of that, and of course bodies of water. Can you speak to that?
Yes. So we have a team, a contingent of about 14 vector control officers that are going out in the various communities to document breeding sites, which includes what you just mentioned, abandoned premises. We are trying to locate the owners so that we can have them either clean or demolished, because they are contentious areas. And also there is a national cleanup which is going on right now to remove containers in conjunction with the constituency empowerment and the Ministry of Environment and Health and Solid Waste. So we welcome that to more or less get rid of some of the containers and breeding sites that exist within the various communities. So we are doing our part. That's why I told you to cooperate with the officers that are in the field as I speak. As I speak now, we are in the rural areas today. in the area of Sadler's Village. So we have covered the entire island at least one cycle. We have also visited all the schools. So we carried out lectures in the schools about dengue prevention and control. All the schools, we have done so. And the inspection of the schools, because the children are our vulnerable population. So we are doing our part as well, yes.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Leader. Treatment, symptoms, what should you look for? What should you do if you have dengue?
Wonderful. So there is no vaccine or specific medication for dengue. There are no treatment. That's what I'm about to tell you. Patients should seek medical advice, rest and drink plenty of fluids if you think that you might have dengue. Do not take any aspirin. Aspirin will thin your blood and cause you to bleed. So you can take paracetamol, drink lots of fluid.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, I did not even know that.
Yes, yes. No treatment. So you cannot get a vaccine to prevent you from getting dengue. If you get it, you just have to drink lots of fluid to rehydrate yourself. And if you get it, the symptoms, I can deal with that right away.
Sure, go ahead.
The symptoms are a high fever, about 104 degrees Fahrenheit or above, headaches, retroorbital pain, that's pain behind the eye, nausea or vomiting, swelling of your glands, joint pain, your elbow and your knees, or a rash may develop. Those symptoms are the symptoms for dengue fever, but more so a fever and retroorbital pain, pain over your eye.
You said you get a rash?
You can get a rash on your extremities, either your hand or your feet as well. Yes.
Wow.
You can get 2 or 3 of the symptoms. You don't have to get all.
Right.
But for the most part, we have to do an analysis, a blood test at the lab to test for dengue fever. Yes.
All right.
So those are the symptoms. If you have any of those symptoms, we advise you to visit your practitioner, your private practitioner, or the hospital in your area, any medical facility in your area to seek attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leader. It is 11:36. We'll open the phone lines now, and we will begin to take calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Okay, we seem to have lost that call. Okay, no callers at the moment. Phone lines are open. Call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. An opportunity for you to ask questions as it relates to dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Leader, we are waiting for some phone callers. You've touched on prevention, treatment, symptoms, the response from the Ministry of Health. What about monitoring other countries that are facing the outbreak of dengue fever?
Wonderful. Currently, we have a space, several countries that we have the Caribbean Public Health Association, CARFA. So all of us are signatory to that body, and we have to report the cases that we're experiencing in the various islands. So we cannot hide it. So we get ready information readily from this institution to know what is going on in the respective islands. And so we work closely to mitigate the spread, but it's already in the various islands. What we don't want is for another strain to come here. As I mentioned, we have 2 and 3, so we have beefed up our surveillance at the ports of entry. So we put a nurse, there's a nurse now at the airport carrying out her surveillance when you come in. We also have our environmental health officers at the air and seaport providing surveillance in this area. We are also providing treatment around the perimeter of both the port, the airport and the seaport, so that we can control the vector upon entrance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leader. We have a caller. Okay, we lost that one. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Oh, there's a caller? Okay, let's hit this caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, caller, go ahead.
You mentioned the site where mosquitoes can breed.
Sorry, caller, could you repeat that, please?
You were mentioning this site where mosquitoes breed.
Oh, sites. Yes.
Places where mosquitoes can breed.
Yes, yes.
Abandoned vehicles are part of that?
Yes, it is. Once it can hold stagnant water. So if you have any abandoned vehicles in your area, you can report it to the health department if you think that it collects water, and we can contact the relevant authorities or the owner to have it removed. Yes, it can be a source of contamination.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution to the program. It's 11:39, and you're listening to The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open, so you can call us at 465-2555. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, you're on the ear. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I have a concern. Now, at the abattoir supposed to kill all animals what is allowed. Instead of that, people is bringing in meat what they kill outside and cut it at the abattoir.
Okay.
That is not supposed to happen. I raised it already at a meeting.
Caller?
Yes?
Could you raise your voice, please? We're not hearing you clearly.
At the abattoir. The abattoir just supposed to, all animals supposed to slaughter at the abattoir.
Yes.
Instead of that, people butchering animal outside, keeping people animals outside. And when you look, they bring it at the abattoir to cut up. Probably the animal may belong to someone else, but it cut in front of the face because it's not alive where you could claim it.
Yes.
You understand me?
Yes. Yes, I'll deal with you.
So I want you to see if you could deal with it. Or the sanitary man, if he's still there, then see if you could deal with it. The abattoir not supposed to take in no animal were dead.
Yes, all right, caller.
If we see an animal traveling with the animal and he dies.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You want to?
Yes, in response to that question, as soon as I leave here, I will have a conversation with the abattoir manager, because the environmental health department is responsible for post-mortem inspection, that's inspection after slaughter. So if you're saying that people are bringing animals to the abattoir just to cut up, that is against our law. It has to be inspected by the health officers at the abattoir. So I'm not privy to that. Now you made me aware of it. I'm going to bring up that to the abattoir manager as soon as I conclude this session.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Do we have any more callers? We do. The caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes.
One of the old days system for mosquitoes. If you have water in a container and you throw it out on the ground, according to what you said, the larvae could live. So long time ago, you get the kerosene oil and you throw it in the container with the water. Now is lamp oil, and that will kill the larvae. I have tried it myself.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. Mr. Leader?
Yes, okay, let me make a correction. Not that the larva will live. The larva needs aquatic water. The eggs can withstand desiccation, dry until water comes. But the kerosene oil is good, but we are trying to be environmentally friendly. So we're using something you name A-bait, which is thermophos, that does not damage our environment. But I agree with you. In a long time ago, we used to use used oil from vehicle and kerosene and these things, but because of the environment degradation, we are trying to be careful in using such harmful chemicals in our environment.
Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the ear. Good morning.
Good morning. I would like the health inspector there to visit Committee Extension, where they have a hole down there full of water, and down there is very dark, so it's breeding mosquitoes. So I would like him to visit Committee Extension. They can dig out a drain down there and leave it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. We have another caller. A caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devonne and company.
Good morning.
Have you all been visiting these guts that been carrying the water from the mountain to the hills? Because when the rain stops falling, sometimes when the water comes from a height, it dig out a hole in the bottom of the gut. And so when all the water run off, some settle still in the gut. And there could be a mosquito breeding ground. And a lot of people have containers in their yard which they store water in. Are they covered from mosquito? The water engineer them supposed to go and check those things. And don't sit in the office and feel like the work is being done in the office. And then the last thing, back to basic. We can watch the low grass and low bush that a weed eater can cut and say don't cut them because they are trees. Back to basic, flit and smother. And throw you a little bit of kerosene oil in the water. That a little bit of kerosene oil cannot harm the environment. It's better to do that than to get the mosquito disease.
All right, caller.
Okay, thank you very much.
It is 11:45. Do we have any more callers? We do. Let's hit this other call.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to make a contribution to the discussion about mosquito breeding areas. Some years ago, a former health officer, I think his name is the guy who owns Glenbarrow now.
Yes.
He had shared some information on radio during a talk show where he explained that the vents that are on people's houses, the vents that lead down to the septic or the vents that come from any water installation that you have in your home, there are usually vents that go right up and sometimes end up over the roof, right? He pointed out that a lot of people did not know that those are great breeding grounds for mosquitoes because they actually go in there and they breed, and at night they come out and swarm. When he gave that information, I took it upon myself to examine my own home, and I realized that I had several vents on my house which were uncovered in terms of not being covered by mesh wire. And so I took the opportunity to correct that situation for myself and for all of the neighbors on all sides of my home. What I now realize happening is that a new and emerging trend is happening where people are building wall fences. And the wall fences usually have a lot of holes in them, and they don't put in concrete to fill them up.
Yeah.
And so those open holes are great potential breeding grounds for mosquitoes. I observed it recently because someone was building a wall for me, and because I was not observing when it was being done, they left all those holes open. Well, most of them. And then in the last rain that we had a few weeks ago, I realized that there was an increase in mosquitoes, and I went and I checked, and I realized that that was the source. And so I took it upon myself and I covered out all those holes. I filled all those holes with cement and concrete and what have you to mitigate that problem. So I wanted to point out, because a few days before I made that correction, an officer from the health department actually came around inspecting areas, and she inspected my home. And she looked in the yard, and there were no cans out, there were no pans with water, and so everything appeared to be okay. But what she apparently did not realize was that those holes on the walls were there. And I just wanted to put that in so that you could alert your officers to be careful and to be vigilant and to recognize when those holes are present, so that they can, in fact, give directives to the persons to rectify the problem. Thank you for allowing me so much time.
Thank you for your contribution to the program. Do we have any more callers? Okay, let's take a pause on the calls. Mr. Leader.
So thank you for the last caller first for that intervention. We have advised our officers when they go out in the respective area to look at exactly what you're talking about. Any areas, whether it be a black hole, and also because of the the flaw in the building code that did not stipulate about the vent, we also indicated to the officers they have to check and inform the householder if the vent is not covered, because we would have discussed it at our senior management meeting lately. So the advice that were given is for them to be vigilant, and I'm happy that you point out just that in terms of your experience at your household. So we are trying, knowledge is key, and we are trying to educate our officers so that they have the knowledge and the tools to inform the general public accordingly. In response to the gentleman that called before that, in the guts, you recognize that there were some cleaning was done in the various guts in the various communities. We are cognizant of the fact, and we are also inspecting the guts for breeding sites. But more so, remember I told you from the start that these mosquitoes really like clean, stagnant water around domestic because they need to get a blood meal. Not saying that they will not breed in the guts, but our concentration, because they are people-centric, they need to get a blood meal to fertilize their eggs. So we are vigilant in the guts as well. I said all bodies of water. So we are trying our very best to curtail those things that you just mentioned. So we are happy that you can bring that to the forefront in respect to your experience with kerosene oil. As I said to you though, we have something that is more environmentally friendly. If you need assistance, the health department can come and administer the same. But it makes no sense to have stagnant water and throw in chemical. It makes sense to get rid of the breeding sites because that chemical will wear out. And so we are trying to do source reduction. Now we are also cognizant of the fact that we are experiencing a shortfall in rainfall and we're having drought. And so people are storing more and more water on their premises to combat that drought. So our advice to them is to make sure that the containers are covered when you're not using it at all times. So we are aware of these, and we thank you for your contribution in enlightening us with those information provided earlier.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Do we have any more callers on the line? We don't. It is 11:51 and you're listening to the Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. If you tuned in late, here with me today is Glenville Leader, Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health. The conversation today was focused on the government's, the Ministry of Health's response to dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis. We were able to touch on what the Ministry of Health is doing, prevention, treatment, symptoms, the fact that they are monitoring other countries and they're out in the communities. What the Ministry of Health is asking for is your partnership, your assistance to be a part of the fight in reducing the spread of dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis. According to Mr. Leader, there are 185 cases, most on the island of Nevis. We'll get that information and share it at a later time. But please work with the Ministry of Health. Mr. Leader, do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the general public as we begin to close out the program?
Yes, so first of all, I'd like to thank the institution ZIZ for accommodating us here this morning to disseminate this information that is timely as we try to save lives. We at the Ministry of Health is very serious about the health care of the various community. Hence, we thought it was prudent for us to get on the media house to enlighten you, giving you information that is key, that is knowledge, so that you do not become a victim of this disease. We recognize that Carnival is around the corner, and so you're going to have more people going to fetes, more congestion, and so your risk increases. People are going to be disposing indiscriminately, which we are asking you to stop. Be mindful, because at this time we are having a crisis, and I'm sure lots of people will be flying in, coming home to partake in the carnival. And so we need you to be responsible. As I say, you have the information that is provided, but we cannot do it alone. We need the intervention of the general public. We all are in it together, because the mosquito, the infected mosquito, is already in our communities, is already infected. It just need a host, someone to bite. And so we just want you to be careful and try to help us in our efforts to mitigate and to minimize against this dreaded disease that confronts our federation at this time. So I would like to thank you for calling in and giving us information in terms of Hermitage area. I'm going to send a team there to look at it expeditiously to see what we can do. And in the various guts provided by the gentleman before, and in terms of the black hole and the vent pipes, we are aware of that, and will certainly heighten the information to our officers so that they can be vigilant when they come to your respective areas. All I can ask is for you to cooperate with us, give us your fullest support, and we can get through this together. Again, it's no need to be alarmed. It's not contagious. You cannot touch me and I get it. You cannot speak to me and I get it. It is spread when a mosquito, an infected mosquito, bite you. And we already have the cases in our community. So I thank you for your intervention and for your calls that we have received today on this program.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. It is 11:55. We just have a few minutes left before we wrap up the conversation. What about contact information for persons who wish to make a call to report any possible breeding site in the Federation?
Right, so you can call the government headquarters 465-2521 and ask to be transferred to the health department. You can call 467, that's a direct number, 1271, which is the office of the chief. You can call 467-1140, that is the general officers, where most of the officers are stationed, or any health center in the community. Anywhere you see a health center in St. Kitts and Nevis, there is a health officer attached to that health center and a vector control officer. So if you are encountering any problems and you need to report, you need to visit the health center. We have sought to decentralize our health programs in the various communities so that you can have access. So the access is provided. It's just for you now to utilize it. If you're having a problem in your area, whether it be Dengue Health Center, Sadler's Health Center, we have districts. So you have the information that you can utilize for your benefit, and we will oblige to your plight because we're trying to help you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leader, and thank you for joining me here on The Edge to share information about the Ministry of Health's response to dengue fever in St. Kitts and Nevis. Please, I'm using this opportunity again to encourage each and every one of you under the sound of my voice to cooperate with the Ministry of Health in the fight against dengue fever. Until next time, you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.